This is Katie the Novel Stitcher. It is Monday, September 2nd, and this is Flosstube 41. This is a channel where I talk all about my love of crafting and cross-stitch. I share my starts, my works in progress, plans, haul, and all of that good stuff. And I also talk about books, and that comes at the end of the video. If you are new here, thank you so much for checking out my channel. I hope you'll like what you see. Stick around, leave me a comment, and consider subscribing. And if you're a returning viewer, thank you so much for being here with me again. It's actually been 2 years of Flosstube for me, which is incredible and amazing to think about. And the reason I'm still doing this is because of all of you. So thank you so much for spending time with me and sharing in this craft with me. Doing this Flosstube has brought me so much more joy than I ever thought it could, and sharing it with you all and getting to know you all has been absolutely amazing. The cross-stitch community is one of the nicest communities that I have the privilege of being a part of, and that's because you are all such amazing and encouraging people. I've loved sharing my stitching with you and hearing about your stitching and your lives and getting to know you and being able to call you friends. It's just been absolutely incredible, and it's crazy that it's been 2 years, but I'm so excited for many more years of Flosstube. So thank you for your viewership if you've been with me from the start, or if you joined in recently. I just appreciate you spending the time with me and sharing your stitching with me and your lives with me and letting me share mine with you. So let's dive in. I have a decent amount, probably a pretty good amount of stitching in the past couple weeks, or about a little over a week and a half. Work has been a little bit busy, so I was a little tired in the past couple weeks. At some points in the night, I just put my stitching aside and just kind of let the TV go and just hung out and played on my phone and watched TV, because it's just been tiring couple of weeks, but everything's good, just normal kind of work busyness going on. Alex and I did have just a relaxing weekend. This weekend we didn't really do much. We went out to lunch a couple times, got a new TV, so now when I'm watching my Flosstube, everybody looks bigger and brighter. So we've been wanting to get a new TV for a little while, so we did that over the weekend. And then tonight we're going to Alex's parents for a Labor Day dinner, just barbecue, so that'll be really nice. So yeah, everything's going well, and it's September, which is crazy. Where did August go? But we are heading into fall, and I am so ready for cozy weather and changing leaves and less humidity, because it's been so humid this summer that you don't even want to be outside for very long. So I'm just very ready for fall, and of course fall stitching, which almost everything I have to share today is fall stitching. So let's dive in. I have one new start since we last met, and I mentioned this in my last video, but I started Autumn Dream by I always get this one wrong, Cottage Garden Samplings. So I just think this is so pretty, and for me it just makes me think of Cinderella a little bit, and maybe that was kind of the inspiration with the word dream and the pumpkin, kind of like the carriage, and just its beautiful colors, and I love the fall feel. And so I am stitching this on a 36 count Up in the Attic by Fox and Rabbit. And at first I wasn't sure if this fabric would be a little bit too dark. It's a little bit darker, at least than the photo is showing for the called for, which is Weeks Dye Works Sanguine. But I think it's actually gonna look really pretty. So this is the progress so far. This fabric is coming off a little bit more brown, but it does have a reddish tint to it. Didn't make too much progress, but working on that leaf up at the top. So starting up here, I always start in the right hand corner, and just a handful of stitches in, but not too shabby so far. And I'll definitely be making a lot more progress on this over the fall. It has lovely colors, Weeks Dye Works. So I am switching out one of them. I think it might have been Grapefruit, is for these red berries, but it's really bright, almost fluorescent kind of neon-y. So I'm gonna replace that with Hollyberry by Classic Colorworks. It's just a little bit more muted, but still bright that those berries are gonna pop. But I just thought the grapefruit was gonna look a little bit out of touch with some of the other colors. It was just a little bit too more neon trending with the color. So I think these are lovely though. And this is going to be such a pretty stitch. The only thing, and I'll just try to show a very little corner of the pattern, is I don't love how the pattern was charted. And so see all of these white triangles here? So you would think that that color would be white, right? But the colors here are not the colors of the pattern. Like the colors here don't relate to the actual colors of the pattern. So all of this white is actually like this medium brown. And then the white is actually like this almost yellowy color. And so that's making the pattern a little bit hard to follow for me because I keep wanting to stitch white for those white triangles. So I'm trying to train myself to think about the symbol and not what color, but I'm not entirely sure why they charted it that way. Maybe there's a reason, but I really love when charts actually use the color that you are stitching in for with the symbols, instead of, you know, kind of having to rely on the symbol and thinking that all of those white triangles should be the white stitches, when in fact it's the darker brown or the lighter brown, and then the white is a different color. So that's a little bit weird. So this one might be a little bit more of a slow go, at least for those parts of it where I'm kind of having to be very careful about what color I'm stitching in so as not to accidentally start stitching in the wrong color. But beautiful pattern, so definitely going to make my way through it and get more stitches in on that one. And I didn't have any finishes. I really need to get on finishing a few things. Earlier in the summer or in the spring, I finished September Quaker. I still have not framed it, and it is now September. So maybe that will be a next weekend activity to sit down and finish a few of the little things I finished stitching over the last few months, because otherwise they'll probably just sit in a box. And I always told myself I was not going to be that person that let stitches pile up for too long in a box. So we'll see. But that was my one start. And so we'll move on to whips, and I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 whips, I think. So not too bad. I don't have a ton of project bags, but this is one of them. This is Como Stitches. I got this last year. It's so cute. It's got little turkeys on it and the little fall houses. So it's great for fall and vinyl front. So, and I am getting a sewing machine. Oh, I told you guys all that. You know I'm getting a sewing machine, and I will let you know which one I picked when Alex orders it and it comes. So I'm excited to get that. That is for my birthday, which is September 11th. So just about a little over a week and a half, or a little over a week. I don't know what day it is when I have 3-day weekends, and today is a Monday and it feels like a Sunday. You just like, it's hard to remember where you are in time. So the next one I worked on is Annie B's Folk Art. Autumn is the second spring. Just really pretty. I like this one. I like that quote. Autumn is a second spring when every leaf is a flower. Very pretty. And so this one is charted all in Gentle Arts in Weeks. And so when I started this, I decided to do a conversion to DMC to make it a little bit cheaper. So there's like quite a few colors. It's not a crazy amount, but I mostly kept with the colors that they have here, the blues and the reds and the oranges. And so these are the colors. I do have 2 browns, I think, Candied Pears and Brown Hen, that I do from Classic Colorworks from my stash, but the rest is DMC. So just very fall, but I like the blues, a slightly different kind of take on fall. I think the blues are like popular these days, blue pumpkins and different kinds of shades of blue with your fall stitching. I'm stitching this one on a 32 count Cream and Sugar by Fiber on a Whim. Started this sometime last fall, so it's been over a year, but I'm making some good progress. This board I'm holding in the wrong way, so let's switch it around. And there's my progress. It's a little awkward. I think I cut this fabric like way too big, so I have like a whole half of it that I can use for something else though. So there we go. That's a little bit better. So there's my progress. So it's coming along well. One thing I did do last year, so I put this away and I must have accidentally thrown away or done something with my color key. And so I realized when I pulled it back out again that first of all, I had taken some floss for other projects. So I didn't even have all the floss in the bag. And then I also didn't have the color key. So I did have to go through and kind of try to remember what I used. The house is a blend, and I figured out what colors the house is because I'm going to use that in a couple other spots. So I did put that in my notes for one of my floss tubes, thank goodness. The rest I just made up. So I just redid it, which thinking about it, I was thinking that all of the other colors, I think it was pretty easy to tell which green and brown because I was like, well, not a lot of the colors repeat that I was missing. Like I figured out the orange and the red there. And the brown is just 3371, so that was easy. And I think I did find the right green. And I had stitched the bird, but I could not figure out what color to stitch the bird in. So I hadn't finished him even. So I ripped him out and did him over in the new color that I selected. So, I mean, it'll be fine. It's not a big deal. And I figured out most of the colors, and some of them are ones I had not originally picked, but that was because I lost my color key. So note to self, if I create a color key for something, put it in multiple places in case I accidentally throw one of it out. But those are the colors I picked. And if you want to know what colors I chose, if you're interested in stitching this, you can reach out and I will send you what colors I did. But I think it's really pretty. And there's really not that much more to go on this, so I'm hoping to finish it this fall. I mean, I finished the whole house and almost all of these words, so it's really just, you know, this is kind of a lot of stitching down here, but also not really that much when you think about it. So, and this is 2/2 because this is 32 count, and the one I showed previously is 1/2. That was a 36 count. So that's autumn is a second spring. It's very pretty. And I think I have a fair few fall finishes that I'll need to put out soon, but it's still kind of, today is cooler. Today, well, actually Alex and I just went for a walk and it's pretty warm in the sun, but I think the temperatures are gonna cool down a little bit because I was gonna decorate for fall this weekend and then it's just been not feeling like fall quite yet. So I have not put out my fall decorations, but when I do, I'll show you a few of my previous fall finishes. And I do have to fully finish my Whimsy Witch. So that's on the list too. So definitely want to get that one done. That one should get done soon because I want to put it out for Halloween. That's the Teresa Koget one. That's a little witch. So gotta get on the fully finishing train here, which it's hard because you want to be stitching and not finishing, but you also want things to be finished. So the next one I worked on is You Got This by the Artsy Housewife. Love this one. It's so cute. Anytime people see this, they just like think it's so cute. So if you're on the fence, highly recommend this one. But I worked on this mostly last Sunday. I got together with some of my stitchy friends. We meet at Panera. We try to meet once a month and just sit and chat and stitch and have a drink. And so we got together and it was really, really nice to just be with stitchy friends because they're the ones who get stitching the most. You can tell your spouse or your family or other people about it and they're like, oh, that's nice, but talking to stitchers is a whole different ball game. So I made pretty good progress while we were chatting. This was kind of a good one to do, and I just worked on the mug. I do have a loose thread here, but so I think I got like this chunk of it done, and I think I worked on the handle a little bit too. Hopefully I counted right over here. But yeah, coming along. So it's not gonna take that much to get this one done. I just need to kind of concentrate on it. So got the rest of that mug. I am gonna do a different color inside where it says You Got This. I have not chosen what color, but I have a good selection of classic color works, so I'll probably choose something from there. And then I just have to do the flower here, and he's pretty much done. And I'm gonna put this up at my cubicle at work to remind me that I got this on the stressful days. And I forgot to say that You've Got This is just on a 32 count Whisper Lugana. So really, really cute. I love his face. He's gonna make me feel like I can get crap done when I'm at work and I'm like, ugh, I don't want to anymore. You just have one of those weeks where things are stressful and everybody wants something from you and you get through the week, and so then the next week you're like, well, I did a lot last week, so now I don't want to do as much. And that's kind of how I felt the past couple weeks, but I always get my work done, even if I'm just feeling a little bit like I don't want to do it and I would rather stitch or read. Because they pay me, so kind of got to do what you got to do to get that paycheck to buy the stitchy things. So the next one I worked on is a PDF, so I'll put it here. It's Cherry Hill Stitchery, and this is an Autumn Wish. I don't have anything very Thanksgiving-y, so I liked this one because it's very good for basically the entire fall. It just fits the vibe of the fall from start to finish, and I'm trying to get cat hair off of this. I always get Scout. My cat, as many of you know, is black and white, and her little black hairs get on everything. And I made pretty good progress on this one. I worked on it a lot last night. Alex had some friends over, so I just hid in the bedroom and stitched and talked to my mom. So that is my progress so far. So this one is on a 32 count platinum Lugana. So also just a Lugana 2/2. And I'm pretty sure that the colors were a mix of DMC and maybe Classic Colorworks or Weeks or something else, and so I just converted it to all DMC, which was very easy for this pattern because there are not that many colors. So I'm really liking this. I don't mind the white stitching so much, even though it's a lot for that pumpkin, and I just like seeing it kind of come together, and I think it's going to be so cute. It's going to be a great fall pattern or fall stitch to put up on the mantle or on our side table, and I'm really enjoying this one. And it's just easy on the nights when you're tired to pick up and do 32 count Lugana, 2/2, not a lot of colors, easy PDF pattern to read, not even a big pattern, not complicated, so easy peasy. And for anyone wondering, this is like shelf liner, and so I put it under my Q-snaps to make it much tighter. It gives you nice tightness when you do that. So that is what that is, if you were wondering. And these are the colors. Oh, I always have like one Classic Colorworks. I do try to really use my Classic Colorworks because I'm in the Floss Fix from Fat Quarter Shop, so I get 5 skeins every month, and so I really try to use them when I can. And so I did choose Gingerbread as one of the colors, and the rest is just DMC. Very typical fall, greens, browns, and an orange. So that one is a lot of fun, and I can foresee myself working on that a lot over the next couple months. The next one I pulled out because I was feeling ready for some Halloween stitching is one that I do not think I'm going to finish this year, but I love this pattern so much, and this is Enchanted Quaker by Luminous Fiber Arts. Came out I think last fall, and I just love, it's just whimsical, it's cute, it's fun, it's Halloween, but it's not spooky or creepy. So definitely my cup of tea. And I am stitching it with DMC 310. She calls for Black Coffee by Classic Colorworks, but I'm using DMC 310 and I'm adding pops of color. And so I like to skip around when I stitch because I get bored, I guess. I don't know. I just don't stick with things. So I worked over here and I finished out this. And then I did one bat and started the other and thought, I'm gonna move over here. So I did work on this, and then I have my dangling thread, but I started on, or I worked more on Cauldron, so I think I did the LDRO. This is on a 40 count slate by Fiber on a Whim, which I'm finding very easy to work on, even with the 40 count. It's really nice fabric. I love the color, very light modeling. Perfect gray for a Halloween stitch or even a Christmas stitch. And I'm just really loving this one. I need to just commit and finish this bat so that I can fully just keep on trucking along. You can see like I did some of this. This isn't done, but I was working on this. I just jump around. I don't know. Just how I am with stitching these days. So, but this is such a pretty one, and I'm so excited to make more progress on it and maybe have it done for next Halloween. We'll see. It does not, well, it kind of both does and doesn't seem like a big pattern. It looks pretty small, like in the picture, but it's a lot of stitching. There's just a lot of motifs and little bits here and there, and I'm not even into like the really complicated parts of it. So this one might take a while, but we'll just enjoy the process with this one. And so here's some of the colors. Classic Colorworks, I got a blooming crocus. This one's bejeweled over here. I got a pea pod. So very Halloween-y kind of colors that are just gonna pop out against the black. So this one might be what I want to have for my photo, for my thumbnail. Sometimes YouTube will grab stuff when you're standing still. It'll like suggest thumbnails, what you see when you're just scrolling and you see a new video from me, that thumbnail, that image you see. It'll suggest ones to you, and most of the time they're like, which is not what I personally want my thumbnail to look like. So I try to like do one where I'm just like holding it and still. And even if YouTube doesn't grab that one, I can do a screenshot of that and use it for my thing. So just so you know why I pause and smile like that. And then the last one is, I'm gonna put a picture here because I do have the physical copy of this one, but I don't know where I put it. It's somewhere. Because I did a photocopy of it, and that's what I have in the bag of the pattern itself. So this is 3 Jackson Cat by Stitches by Ethel. Alex totally forgot, but he got this for my birthday a couple years ago, and it's a tiny, tiny pattern, and I'm still not finished with it, so we gotta get working on this. But this one is on a natural raw linen. It's 32 count, so 2 over 2. I got a lot of smaller counts going today, but that's what I've been in the mood to stitch on. Less 36 and 40, more 32, which is probably my sweet spot for anything. 36 is probably my favorite, then 40, and then 32. I don't have many projects where I'm under 32, but I'm sure there's some. I think there's a couple 8s out there. Anyway, I finished the cat, did his legs, did his tail and the spider web inside. There's a pumpkin sitting on his tail, so I started on that. And that's all I got to, but he's done, and it shouldn't take too much longer to get those pumpkins and those stars in. So possibly another finish before we get to Halloween. Maybe by the end of this month, I'll try to get this one done. It's really cute though. And then very basic, easy DMC. So I like that one. She has some really cute patterns. Stitches by Ethel. I like her stuff a lot. So I'll probably be stitching more from her in the future. So the next thing I have is haul. Just a very little bit of haul. 2 things. So the first one, I joined Be Stitch Me's Fabric of the Month Club. I'm on the fence about it. But this month, if you're part of it and you haven't gotten yours, turn away. But this month was Boot Camp, which is this mottled brown green one. It's very pretty. The modeling is pretty intense with Be Stitch Me, I'm realizing, which is fun, but I just have to get more creative then. And I got a lot. Ooh. I don't know how much. 1/4 a yard. Yeah. Ooh, that's a big piece. So it's cool. And part of the reason to be in a fabric club is to kind of stretch out of my comfort zone and get different fabrics that then I'm like, okay, now you have these funky fabrics, let's use them. I just think I have to kind of break out of the box with what could go on something like this and like really be more creative, because I do use a lot of very more neutral, plain, less variegation or less modeling, lighter. I'm more on the lighter side. I think everything I showed you, nothing is super dark. as far as the fabric, is more like tans and light browns and then whites and grays. So the point of this is to get my stash going with more funky fabrics, and then as I decide I want to start projects, to try something different with them. So let me know how you figure out how to use like a fabric like this. Obviously like floss tossing, but how do you even envision that something would look good on this to know to even try? Any advice there? But of course we go from talking about how I want to do something or use fabrics that are less plain and have more going on, and then my next one is a very plain fabric, but it's beautiful. So I've been wanting to try color and cotton fabric. I find it very difficult to get a hold of. Mostly it's sold out anytime you look anywhere, but I saw on Instagram maybe a couple people pointed out that they were having pre-orders for fabric. I normally don't pre-order stuff because my one very heavy millennial trait is I want something and I want it as fast as I could possibly have access to it. And so pre-ordering, you gotta wait like 2 to 3 months for it to come. And I'm like, do I want to wait that long? Like then I'm gonna forget I even ordered it and I won't even know what I want to use on it. But Color and Cotton has beautiful fabric, and I was like, you know what, it'll be fine. And I did forget that I ordered it until I got the email that they're like, your fabric is shipping. And I'm like, oh yeah, I ordered that. So that actually was kind of exciting, because then I was like, ooh, a present that I paid for months ago. So I got buttermilk. I got 1/4 yard and 36 count. And it's just a very beautiful, neutral, beigey kind of color. And it is beautiful. And there's like so many things that I could stitch on this. It's just lovely. And I got a nice big cut. So I'm excited about having that and trying Color and Cotton. It's really nice to touch. It's soft, but not too soft. I don't like when things are like slippery soft. No idea if the color is really showing up. It's probably like a little less yellowy maybe than the light is making it look, but it's just beautiful. It's really nice. So I am excited to have that too. And at this point, between the fabric I've recently purchased, that and my Bestitch Me, I am like not allowed to buy fabric for the time being unless there is something like amazing that needs to be stitched on a particular fabric to really get the full effect. So, but fabric buying shall decrease. I will stick with this Bestitch Me club for now. The boot camp and the one the month prior, which was coconut shell, were very similar. So I think that added to my disappointment a little. The coconut shell was like a very mottled dark brown, and this one is like mottled greeny brown. So they're very similar. They're different colors when you hold them next to each other, you can tell, but they're kind of like a similar darker vein. So I'll see what else I get. I don't have to stick with the club if I decide that I have enough. So maybe through the end of the year, I'll get, you know, September, October, November, and December, and then I'll take a pause on it. So we'll see, but it's fun getting fabric in the mail regardless. And then plans. So my only big plan is on my birthday, I'm going to stitch Rest a While. So I haven't come up with a hashtag for this yet. If you would like to join in, maybe just Rest a While Sal, but I don't know if that's taken. If it's not, I'll put it below. If it is, I'll think of, like on the screen, I'll put it. But if it is taken, I'll think of something else because I don't want to steal someone else's hashtag. This is by Plum Street Samplers. It's so cute with the little fox. Part of the reason I wanted to stitch this is we have a fox in our backyard, but I haven't seen him in maybe like a month. So I don't know where he went, but I will still stitch this because it's still adorable and it makes me think of our fox friend, and maybe he will return in the fall. And so I got all the floss, which is Classic Colorworks, and then I wanted to get your opinion on the fabric because I could stitch him on my new Color and Cotton, which is very light. The call for is Oatmeal by Fiber on a Whim, which is probably a little bit darker. Sorry about the glare. I didn't take it out of the plastic because it has all the floss in the back. So I could do them on this, and the white will show because it's outlined. And so, except maybe his little, this part isn't outlined, so maybe it won't show. That's a thought, whether or not the white will show. But the other option, which is a more funky option, which is what I'm trying to do more of, is Old Mushroom by Extra Designs. It's 40 count, and it's got this funky modeling in like a brownie kind of color. And some parts are more modeled than others, so I can kind of cut it how I want it to work for the pattern. So let me know. I'm kind of leaning toward the Old Mushroom. I think it might look kind of cool with this, but let me know what you think. Does that work? Or do I want to be more plain? Let me know. I mean, there is this one, but I just think that, I'm just worried like with something like this that the greens and the browns are gonna kind of blend in with the fabric too much, which is I guess my other slightly difficult thing about picking a funky fabric is what if, and you could always try new colors or change up the colors a little, but that's always like, are all the colors going to show the way you want them to show on the fabric when it's like, you know, what a green and a brown and that kind of thing show on something like this. But then you also have to consider it from this. Will a beige and a white and a lighter color show? So that's why you floss toss, I guess. But if you want to join me in the Rest a While Sal, well, first let me know what fabric. And then if you want to join me, September 11th is my birthday. It's next Wednesday. So please let me know if you'd like to join in and we can stitch along together, and that would be a lot of fun. And I will think of a hashtag and put it below. And I think that's it for the stitching. So shorter stitching segment, probably went through it pretty fast, but just a little bit here and there. It seems like a lot, but I didn't make a ton of progress on a lot of things. Just a little bit of stitching, and you know, you have those weeks where you stitch more and you stitch less. So if you stayed this long, we'll talk about books in a second, but if you stayed this long, leave me some sort of emoji. I don't know, you could do like a something fall, like a fall leaf emoji or a pumpkin or something like that. Let me know what you're stitching on. Are you all in on fall? Are you letting the summer linger? Are you not interested in seasonal or sampler September? I'm not stitching on any samplers right now. Might be something I need to fix. So let me know if you're doing a sampler for Sampler September. And thanks for stopping by. Let me know what's new with you and how things are going for your September. And if you like bookish content, just a quick book update. So for those of you in Stitches and Pages, I am doing separate videos, and I will have a video out this week choosing the dates and times for the Zoom meeting and the link for you to sign up. So stay tuned. I will get around to that. I meant to do it last week, and again, I was kind of tired and just not entirely up for it. Even though it would be like a 5-minute video, I just didn't get around to it. So we will have that later in the week. And then I did finish an audiobook today. Sorry, I have to cough. My apologies. So I finished The Italian Inheritance by Joe Piazza, I think. Audiobook, I don't have it in front of me, but here's the cover. I enjoyed it. I thought it was really good. It's not the best book I've read all year. I thought it got a little bit too unbelievable toward the end. So quick synopsis, this one was recommended to me by a coworker because she knows the author. And this one is about a woman who is going through a really rough time. She had a restaurant in Philadelphia that ended up having to close because she couldn't afford to keep it open anymore. She got divorced from her husband, isn't having a lot of time to spend with her daughter. Her life is a little bit in disarray. And then her Aunt Rosie dies. And so she goes to the funeral and finds out that Rosie got them both tickets to go to Italy. Rosie obviously passed away and wasn't able to go. She wanted them to go together because her family's from Italy. And so this woman, whose name I forget, which is awful, but Stephanie? Sarah. Oh, okay. Sarah decides to go to Italy because Aunt Rosie wants her to spread her ashes in Italy. So she flies to Italy to go to the small town where her aunt's family is from to spread the ashes. And while she's there, she finds out kind of two things. One, her aunt also wanted Sarah to claim land that belongs to their family that had been taken over by someone else, but wants Sarah to claim that land that is rightfully hers, rightfully the family's, especially because Aunt Rosie, before she passed, knew Sarah needed the money, that she was having some financial troubles. And then Sarah also finds out that Rosie's mother was murdered. And so also is asked to like solve the mystery of the murder because no one knows who did it, like almost a century ago. So it's like, it's kind of a lot going on, but it was good. At the start, I liked the Italian characters, and the town that Sarah went to is made up, but probably heavily researched, and the feel of Italy, small town Italy, countryside Italy, and just all the characters and quirky people, and then the mystery of like the ownership of this land, which was owned by Rosie's mother, this woman who was murdered, and women back when Serafina is her name, was given the land. Women didn't really own land and weren't really given land, and like the circumstances around her being given the land were questionable, even though it was properly hers. Just the person who gave it to her was not someone you would expect to or want to or have the right to give her the land, I guess, in a way. You'd have to read the book to understand what I'm saying. I don't want to give anything away. But so there was that mystery, and then the mystery of her murder. I really liked so there were two timelines. So you did hear about Rosie's mother's life, Serafina, and her work as a nurse or a healer, which then people called her a witch and all of this. And then the history of Italy back when a lot of men were leaving to go to America to try to make a name for themselves in America, to make more money, to send back to their family, or to hopefully bring their family to this new country with so much potential for them and for their family, and how a lot of the men left and the women stayed behind. The men went to work and raise money and earn enough money and save enough to bring their families over. So for years, the men were off in America while the women stayed behind. And because society needed to keep running, the women got to do a lot of the work that the men usually did, to run businesses, to make their own money, to determine their own lives and make their own decisions instead of just staying home while the husband did all of that. And so that was an interesting part of the story, to hear about that history and Serafina's experience with that, as a woman who became a healer and did all these things while her husband was gone, and then later they kind of accused her of like witchcraft and improper behavior and things like that. So there was that story, and then you get Sarah in Italy uncovering a lot of this history in the present tense. So it was good. It got a little weird toward the end. Like the way it kind of wrapped up felt, I don't want to say too neat, but like there was too much to it. Like she was almost tricked by someone, and different events happened that she didn't have control over. And it was just kind of like all kind of came to a climax very quickly in a very unexpected way. And then it kind of like ended. And some of the surprises I liked, but some of them I was like, I don't know. Not that this whole story was believable anyway, but then it just became like really unbelievable, where you're like, okay, this is like pure fiction, not even any kind of like historical fiction. So it was good. It just wasn't my favorite book of the year, but the audio was really well done. I liked the voice actors, the Italian accents and stuff like that. So I wouldn't not recommend it. I just wouldn't, I'm not gushing about it. It's probably got like 3.5 stars from me. So yeah, sometimes you read books and they're okay for what they are. They're just not your most favorite thing. So, but I'm still reading Tress of the Emerald Sea by Brandon Sanderson. I've been reading that for like months. I am really enjoying it. It's just a book that I have to be in the right mood for. So I just have only been picking it up little bits and pieces. And then for the book club, we are reading The Violin Conspiracy, which I am really enjoying. I just don't want to rush through it, because then by the time we meet for the book club, I'm going to be like, what was that character's name? Because I literally just finished The Italian Inheritance and couldn't remember the name of the main character. So, but maybe taking notes would help with that. But now that I finished The Italian Inheritance, I'll pick a new audiobook to listen to, and I will let you know next time what that book is. So let me know if you're reading anything good. Might be time to get into like a fall reading feel, maybe something a bit magical or mysterious. So we'll see where things lead me. But let me know if you have any recommendations or if you're reading anything really good right now. I always love when you let me know what you're reading and give me things to add to my TBR. So let me know, and I hope you all have a wonderful week and a wonderful start to September, and I should be back in about 2 weeks. So thank you so much, and happy stitching and happy reading.